the next example. The word problem. Jonas drove his car from Montana to Canada on vacation. While there, he needed to buy gasoline and noticed that it was sold by the liter rather than by the gallon. Use the conversion factor of 1 gallon to 3.79 liters to determine how many liters will fill his 12.5 gallon gas tank. So this is one of those cool word problems that actually give you your conversion factor. So I'm just going to go ahead and write my goal. The question is 12.5 gallons. How many liters is that? Well, just like we did at the beginning, put that over 1, multiply. Since gallon is here in the numerator, gallon needs to be down here. I better write GAL. You don't want to get that confused with gram in science, so GAL for gallons. And then I'm going to put liters right here. And I know that for every 1 gallon, there are 3.79 liters. Gallons cancels out with gallon, liters is left, and here's my question. How many liters? So I'm good. Now I just do the math part of it. My numerator is 12.5 multiplied by 3 and 7/900, and I get this 47 and 38 tenths. I'm going to round out to 2 decimal places over 1. So my final answer is 47 and 38 hundredths of liters for his 12.5 gallon tank. Look at my dimensional analysis. See how quickly gallons cancels out. Yes, some of you are going, Mr. Wayne, why don't I just take 12.5 multiplied by 3.79 and that gives me the answer? Well, that's what we really do. That's what we really did. But now I'm asking you to set it up so you can see the relationship. Because now we're going to go into a little bit more difficult problem. How many hours in a year? So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video right now. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to set it up and then see when you push play again or the sub push play again. You'll see my example up on the screen and let's see if it matches up. Okay, so we'll be right back. So hopefully you have something like this. Some of you might have 365 days over 1 year multiplied by 24 hours over 1 day. That's completely fine. We'll get the same answer. Some of you might want to start with something like 1 minute over 24 hours multiplied by, well, minutes is up here, so minutes is down here. We measure minutes into hours, but here's the dilemma. This gets you nowhere because everything just cancels out. So really, this is not an appropriate setup for this problem. So look at my setup. I have 1 year, that's my goal, over 365 days. Why? Because we measure year by days. So 1 year over 365 multiplied by 1 day over 24 hours. Quickly look, days cancel out with days, year over hours, and that's exactly what I need. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply my numerator. 1 times 1 is 1. 365 multiplied by 24 hours. And there's my setup. So my final answer is there are 8,760 hours in 1 year. Let's try the next one. Here's one of my favorite problems. A cheetah ran 300 feet in 2.92 seconds. What was the cheetah's average speed in miles per hour? Step one is you need to identify the units that you have and where you need to go. So I am given feet per second, and in math, per usually means divide, so there's my ratio bar, and I'm going to miles per hour, or mph, miles per hour. So the next step is to write down exactly what they gave me. So 300 feet over 2.92 seconds. And then I'm going to multiply. So now instead of converting one unit, we're doing two different units of measurement at the same time. We're doing feet over seconds, and we're going to end up with miles per hour. So here's the fun part, the creative part for most of you. Choose one to cancel out and then worry about the other one. So since feet is up top right here, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out first. And I'll worry about seconds in just a second. So I didn't mean to make that little corny joke. So here's feet. I need to put feet right there. And we measure feet by miles, into miles. So I know that 1 mile has 5,280 feet. Feet cancels out, all that's left is miles. So we're good on that part. Miles is checked. Now we need to convert seconds into hour. Well, that's my next fraction. Since seconds is down here, I'm going to go ahead and put seconds right there on top numerator. And then we measure seconds into minutes. Again, don't jump units. You can't go from seconds to hour. And then multiply another fraction. Since minutes is right here, I'm going to put minutes up here and put hours right there. Before I really move on, I want you to look at my setup. I'm multiplying multiple fractions at once, and you'll see here quickly that it's going to help quickly convert and leave whatever I need left. So feet cancels out with feet. Miles is left alone. Minutes is cancels out with minutes. Seconds is canceled out with seconds. All that's left is hour. So I'm good. So let's finish filling out our numbers. I know that every 1 minute there's 60 seconds. And I know that every hour there are 60 minutes. See, again, 1 in my numerator or denominator, 1 in my fraction, 1 in my other fraction. And now the fun part. I just multiply straight across. So 300 times 1 is 300. 300 times 60 times 60. And here is my setup for my numerator. My denominator is 2.92 times 5,280 times 1 is going to be this number. So what I'm going to have is I have 1,080,000 miles over 15,417.6 hours. That's a really big number. So what we need to do is we need to do one more step. We actually need to divide these two numbers down so we can get mph. So I'm going to put in the calculator 1,080,000 divided by 15,417.6, and what I get is the cheetah's average speed miles per hour. So the cheetah's average speed is 70 and 500, rounded to two decimal places, miles per hour. And there is dimensional analysis at its best. I'm converting 1, 2, 3, 4 different, I'm multiplying 4 different fractions, converting from feet to seconds to miles per hour. If you need to pause the video, let the sub know, and I'll know, and write this down. Make sure you have this set up. Make sure everything's canceled out at the end. The only thing that's not canceled out at the end is the example that, or the units that you need. Here's the next one. A radio-controlled car traveled 300 feet across the classroom in 1.6 seconds. How fast is it traveling in miles per hour? This is exactly the same setup as the last one. So go ahead, I'm going to pause the video, you set it up, and then I'll push, when you push play, you'll see that, you'll see my example, and hopefully we're on the right track. So good luck. So if you look, hopefully yours will look something like mine. I went ahead and said feet per second into miles per hour up here so I don't lose track of my goal. I have 30 feet over 1.6 seconds, what they gave me, multiplied by my first unit is 1 mile per 5,280 feet. And then I can go 60 seconds per 1 minute, 60 minutes per 1 hour, and then I'm going to go in and cancel all the units that cancels out. Feet cancels out with feet, seconds cancels out with seconds, miles is left alone, minute is canceled out with minute, and hour is left alone, and is pretty much exactly the same setup as the last one. So I'm going to multiply 30 times 60 times 60, and there's my first numerator, and that's going to be miles, and then my time is going to be 1.6 times 5,280, and I get that number. Again, a really large number, so I need to do one more step. I'm going to divide, so I'm going to divide 108,000 divided by, start that over. And the question is how fast the car was traveling in miles per hour. The car was traveling at 12 and 7,800 miles per hour. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to do one more example. So the last example we're going to look at is a comparison between two different units. We're going to compare, see which one's longer, a 1 mile race or a 1,500 meter race. There's a couple ways you can do this. But the idea is that you want to find a commonality between the two. I'm going to look at my conversion table. I know that there's for every 1 mile there's 5,280 feet. I know that for every 1 foot there is approximately 0.3048 of a meter. So that's what I'm going to be using right there. Go back to the slide. So what's going to happen is I'm going to convert miles, 1 mile, into feet. Well, 1 mile has 5,280 feet. Multiply, since feet is right there. Miles is what I need. I'm just going to leave it, so I'm going to cancel out the feet, and I'm going to put meters right there. I know that every foot is equal to 0.3048 of a meters, and I'm going to, basically what I'm doing right now is I'm converting 1 mile into meters using feet. So 1 times 1 is equal to 1. Feet cancels out with feet. What's left is 5,280 times 0.3048, and that gives me 1,609 and 344 thousandths. So what does this number mean? This number means that every 1 mile is equivalent to 1,609.344 of a meter. So which one is greater then? Well, 1 mile. 1 mile is longer because it is equal to 1,609.344 of a meter. So that's dimensional analysis. We're probably going to practice today and tomorrow. I apologize for the long video. Usually they won't be this long, but since I'm introducing a new idea, I'm going to post this to my website. So if you need to rewatch any examples, please do. Again, if I'm not in the classroom, if you need help, just send me an email at the end of class or at the end of school, and we'll go from there.